According to reports from scientists, the rate of ice melting in the Arctic and Antarctic is currently increasing. This causes the Earth to suffer many influences. In the future, when the ice in the Arctic and Antarctica melts, the consequences that humans and the Earth will have to endure will be many times more serious and severe. So join us to find out the causes and consequences through today's video. The Arctic and Antarctica both have huge amounts of ice. If all of this ice melts, the consequences will be extremely serious. The melting of ice in the Arctic and Antarctica is occurring mainly due to two main causes. The first is due to climate change. Global temperature rise is one of the main factors causing the melting of ice. This phenomenon is closely linked to climate change caused by human activities, including the emission of greenhouse gases such as CO2 from industrial activities, transportation, and fossil fuel energy use. Wars, forest fires, deforestation, and environmental pollution activities contribute greatly to the increase in Earth's temperature. The increase in global temperature causes rapid melting of ice, resulting in the loss of large amounts of water from these ice layers. The second is change in the ecological system. In addition to the impact of climate change, there are internal factors in the ecological system that also play an important role. Changes in water flow, temperature, and changes in land structures may also contribute to the loss of ice from the poles. Deep underground mineral resource exploitation, tremors caused by weapons testing and volcanic activity all affect the structure of the Earth's layers. Both of these causes work together and influence each other, creating the ice melting process that is taking place today. Understanding this cause is very important to consider and apply measures to limit climate change, thereby minimizing the rate of ice melting and negative effects on the environment. When the ice in the Arctic and Antarctica completely melts, there will be major impacts on the environment and life on Earth. Melting of the polar ice caps will lead to two main consequences. The first is sea level rise. As the ice melts, the amount of ocean water increases. This can lead to flooding and waterlogging in coastal areas, affecting more than 1 billion people living in coastal areas around the world. Coastal cities and many other large urban areas around the world will be flooded. Some may be completely submerged. Rural areas are also not immune to the consequences. Many agricultural lands will be flooded, affecting food productivity. The second consequence is climate change. The melting of the ice will also affect the ocean current system, causing major changes in climate. It can cause changes in wind and rain patterns and even alter tropical and subtropical cycles. Droughts, floods, stronger storms and climate extremes could become more common. In addition, melting ice also affects the ecosystem at the poles. Animal species living at the poles will be threatened. This could lead to the extinction of some species. This will require special attention from the international community to mitigate the negative impacts of climate change. Protecting affected areas and minimizing the increased risk of habitat loss are urgent priorities for the future. When the ice in the Arctic and Antarctica completely melts, sea levels could rise a significant number of meters. However, accurately predicting the extent of sea level rise is not easy because it depends on many factors such as the rate of ice melting, the impact of climate change and many other factors. According to some predictions from scientists, if all the ice in both the Arctic and Antarctica melts, sea levels could increase from a few meters to more than 10 meters. However, this prediction is still uncertain and will require continued research and monitoring to be able to make more accurate forecasts. What should be done to prevent thawing? Not all hope is lost. We can still stop the ice from melting. We can reduce CO2 emissions by changing our lifestyle. This can include using renewable energy, cycling instead of driving, and saving energy. The government also has an important role. They can develop policies to reduce emissions. Global organizations also need to act. We need a global effort to reduce climate change. In addition, we also need to research on creating new techniques to reduce the amount of CO2 in the air. Finally, we need to raise awareness about this issue. The more people understand the consequences of melting ice, the more likely we are to take action. Predictions about the future can be quite murky, but there's no need to completely despair. Remember that every small action can change the situation. Never think that you can't do anything. If each of us gives a little, we can make a big difference. Let's act together to protect our Earth. It's the only home we have. Preventing the melting of polar ice caps is not an easy task. But if we don't act now, the consequences could be irreversible. Together, we can make a change. Let's start today, and protect the Earth together. The video ends here. If you find it interesting, please subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to support the channel. See you again in the upcoming video.